sometimes people are motivated to push us in a certain direction when it may or may not be in our best interest. So there you have to look at things like the fees and all the things associated with it. But here's one thing about the fees. Do they do better when you do better? Or do they do the same regardless of how well you do?
Right.
New census data shows that fewer young adults are reaching traditional milestones. Back in 1975, nearly half of Americans aged 25 to 34 had at that point moved out, married, started families. I mean, they may not still be married to each other today, but that is the course of, events that went down back then.
Right.
Today, fewer than a quarter have done the same thing. I wonder why.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We just moved a child out of the house, as you know, Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Went off to Pensacola Christian College. And I'm just going to say this because he's not going to hear the show. And I feel like we need it marked down just in case.
For historical purposes.
For historical purposes. You don't even know what I'm going to say yet. You're going to be excited about this. So we took Christian's friends out to lunch yesterday. A lot of them were in our youth group. And so we said, oh, we'll come to lunch with us. And Cameron's friends with all of them. So we had 3 kids join us for lunch Sunday after church. And I asked Sam, one of his buddies, I said, have you heard from Christian? He said, yeah, we texted a little bit. I said, has he told you anything about any girls he's been speaking with? And he just looked at me and smiled. Well, I've known Sam for 3 years, and I knew he knew something as soon as he looked at me and smirked. And I said, Sam, you got to tell me what he texted
already?
You. Apparently, he met a girl, which Sam is kind of cutthroat. He's like, okay, good for you,
Yeah.
And he said, it could be my wife.
No, you're too young.
Right?
No, I'm sure she's sweet. I'm sure she's amazing. He's a freshman. No,
I'm like, Sam, you've got to help get me some information. We need.
I just had a panic attack.
Name so we can Google them. Or her. So I'm waiting for that information. I did figure out I had Sam's number, which I didn't think I did. So I just checked in.
Well, now we've got a line.
No picture yet. LOL. So, yes.
Well, that didn't take long.
Yeah, we got to have a talk, slow down. It's all good.
So he may meet the traditional milestone. We'll see.
So, yes, he does not fit into this crowd.
No, he does not. He does not. I don't know if you guys remember a few weeks ago, I showed you the free steak dinner invitation my folks got in the mail for a retirement event. Yeah. Well, a friend of mine, I guess he heard us or something, or maybe he just thought it would find it funny. He texted me a picture of a free seminar and meal ticket that he received in the mail from a funeral home. Now, I'm not trying to make fun of funeral homes because they're a necessary, right?
Yeah.
But it's like an awkward, nobody like, ooh, I'm going to go do is pre-plan everything. Let's get lunch. I mean, I don't, but anyway, it feels like an awkward, like, yay, come on, free meal. But I guess retirees are really, big targets for marketing if you step back and think about it.
Well, I heard that was a really busy event that people were actually dying to get in there.
Oh my.
I set him up for that one.
How many baby boomers are there? I can't remember the number.
A lot.
A bunch. Yeah.
So think about it. This is a large group of people that are big consumers of many things. And so it makes sense for marketers to reach out to them, right?
Yeah. It does.
They have money to spend. They're not like the broke besties or kids who don't have.
And they have a service to offer.
Well,
yes, they have a service to offer. But I think, I don't know where you're going with this, Kristin, but, when you think about all the different ads, so you're jokingly talking about this ad with the
funeral home,
events, but I mean, there's so many different, community lifestyle communities. There's so many different advertisements we get. I actually came up with a list of questions to ask yourself when you're getting all these. So it doesn't matter what realm it's in.
Okay.
Home security system.
You got a list and you didn't tell me?
Yeah, what is this?
So know what you need. Number 1, when you're filtering through all these things you're getting,
we're being marketed everywhere we turn.
Everywhere we turn, know what you need. What are your top concerns? Like, what things do you need solutions to? Number 2, check the source. Is it trusted? Are they licensed providers? Is this a reputable company? Do your research, right?
I find the Google reviews are helpful with that too, by the way.
They are, but that's not the end all be all. And that's why I think, because I was thinking about it, how do you decipher? How do you shift through the noise? We got to do an interview with Kenny Chesney years ago about that new project he did. The song
at the time, Noise.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I remember asking him questions about how he sifts through all the noise, and his answer, he gave me this long answer, but basically you have to realize what you need and what's really important to you before you make choices about what you're going to do. It's like deciding in advance, right?
Yes.
We talk about that with the boys all the time. So know what you need, check the source, spot red flags. Like if something doesn't seem right, if there's pressure tactics, if there's guarantees or promises, that's probably not something you want to.
Well, you need to validate the guarantees and promises.
So, and when I say pressure tactics,
only two left at this price, or
that's what I mean by that. Yeah. Only two left at this price. You got to call today, or the deal is gone.
Yes, never buy into that, because I often say here in the conference room, I don't even buy a microwave without thinking about it.
And I'm sure we'll talk about the financial side of this, but like in the financial arena, guarantees for interest rates in some cases. Like make sure there's basis behind the guarantees that are being provided. They're not just empty promises, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And make sure they're compliant promises. Number 4, compare your options. So don't just pick one because it catches your attention. It's called a shiny object.
Yes.
That's what those are called. Marketers are really good at making you think you need to make a quick decision. They want that because otherwise you're going to go to their competitor. So making sure that it's something that compares against others that you might be interested in, and along with that, getting a second opinion. So those can go hand in hand.
And Kristin, the reason that type of marketing works so well, because it's things that we're already thinking about. They're things that we already perhaps want or need.
Well, and so that's why I said go to number 1. Is this a want or is this a need?
Right.
That's really, really important, because
it is.
I'm thinking specifically in our world, of when people call in and say, of course, gold has had a great run here. Right. But, years ago when it maybe wasn't doing as well, I saw an advertisement, I need gold. Should I buy gold?
Right.
I saw an advertisement of I need Bitcoin. It's the next big thing. Should I buy Bitcoin?
Right.
I saw this great stock and everyone's talking about it. I want to buy that. Well, what's your reasoning behind it, right?
How does it fit in your overall needs and plans?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it can be the craziest things. It can be senior living communities, because many of our elderly clients have called and said, I'm thinking about this senior living community. There's a $200,000 buy-in. What do you think?
Sometimes, I'm sure you've seen this, it's worth it. Sometimes it's not.
Right. Things like home security systems. Those are things that, make us feel safer within our home. Travel packages is a big one. A lot of our families love to travel.
Travel packages and what's the
timeshares?
Timeshares.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Now, and I'm not death on timeshares. If you got a good value and you actually use it, because it's a way to go and get away and do some things. We do the Disney Vacation Club, which is something that we enjoy as a family. A little different than a traditional one, but still nevertheless the same. Health and wellness things. I mean,
that's real hot right now.
There's a medical device, whether it be a hearing aid, whether it be a mobility scooter, those things.
And all these things add up. So this list of things that you just said, the lifestyle things, if you will, when we were talking about supplements and vitamins and medical devices and subscription services and things like that, those add up and count towards your overall budget for retirement. So that's where you go back to that number 1, know what you need.
Yes.
And not to say you can't do things that are maybe a little more frivolous in nature, or, just extra money that you have to throw around, but they need to accomplish something. Otherwise, you really get into this cycle of causing your budget to blow up for no reason, right? And then you've got a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense and you don't really have a plan for your life.
Exactly. Now, the one area where it's sometimes difficult for people to decipher for themselves what it is they need is in the financial realm.
Right.
And that's where you need to understand someone's motivation. And here's what I mean by that. People that only do one certain area, whether it be stocks and bonds, and then their motivation is to discount or discredit everything else that's not a stock or a bond, or people who only do insurance products and they try to scare you out of the stock market, or people who work in the banking realm and they would prefer that we keep all our money in the local bank. There's nothing wrong with a local bank and it fits into your overall plan, but you shouldn't overweight your assets in the bank. There's nothing wrong with stocks and bonds and investments, but it needs to fit in with your overall structure of a plan as to what it is you're trying to achieve long term. And insurance products have a place in your plan, but they need to be very specific to your particular needs and desires. So those things you have to understand. Sometimes people are motivated to push us in a certain direction when it may or may not be in our best interest. So there you have to look at things like the fees and all the things associated with it. But here's one thing about the fees. Do they do better when you do better? Or do they do the same regardless of how well you do?
Right.
That's a big part of it. And then here's one. Are they taking, and I see this in the financial world all the time, is sometimes they try to take the focus off of themselves by trying to discredit everybody else. This is really huge in the financial world. Don't be caught off guard by people who are pointing at everybody else only to cover up their own shortcomings. This is big. So you have to really watch in every area, lifestyle, healthcare, and in the financial services, that you're getting the best deal for you and your family.